ടീച്ചർ ജോയിൻ ആയിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ അല്ലേ? സ്മിത ടീച്ചർ ഉണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ ടീച്ചറെ, ഹാർട്ട് വെൽക്കം. ഓക്കെ
താങ്ക് യു ടീച്ചർ.
ഓക്കെ ടീച്ചറെ, തുടങ്ങുവാണേ.
ഓക്കെ മോളെ, സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തോളൂ.
Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome to our 63rd talk of Indepth Invited Talk series hosted by the Research Wing of prestigious Smart Theophilus Training College. Thank you for being here. Myself, Pavitra S., Research Scholar, Smart Theophilus Training College. Let us begin our meeting by seeking the blessings of Almighty with a prayer. Thank you, everyone. Before moving forward, I humbly request you to mute your mic. If you have any queries, please inbox in chat box. After the talk by the resource person, there will be a deliberating time, and that time you can clarify your queries. This program will be recorded and will be uploaded in the college official YouTube channel. And the link will be shared through the Indepth WhatsApp groups. Feedback form only share at the end of the meeting. Only those who submit the feedback form will receive the e-certificates through the email ID which you have entered in your feedback form. I humbly request you everyone kindly follow the instructions for the smooth conduct of the meeting. Kindly cooperate. Thank you. May I now invite Sheila V., the research scholar, Smart Theophilus Training College, for the welcome address. Over to Sheila V.
Thank you, Pavitra. Good evening, everyone. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. Respected principal, resource person, research coordinator, delegates, and my dear friends, a very warm welcome to all at our weekly Insight Indepth program. I would like to welcome our principal, Dr. K.Y. Benedict sir, to this program. Welcome, sir. I especially want to welcome our resource person, Dr. Smitha S., Assistant Professor, SN Training College, Nedunganda, to this program. Welcome, Smitha ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome our research coordinator, Dr. Bindu B., Associate Professor, to this program. Welcome, Bindu ma'am. Finally, I would like to welcome all delegates, research guides, teachers, and my dear friends. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila ma'am. Our topic of today is Achieving Integrity Through Research Culture. It is a great pleasure to invite Dr. Smitha S., Assistant Professor of Srinarayana Training College, Nedunganda. For knowing more about the resource person, let us invite Ms. Diva S. for introducing the guest of the meeting. Over to Diva ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, one and all. Now it's my privilege to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Smitha ma'am, Assistant Professor, SN Training College, Nedanganda. She got MSc degree in Mathematics with 4th rank, MS Philosophy with 1st rank, MAt with 2nd rank, PG Diploma in Educational Planning, Management and Administration with 1st rank, and she has MA in Psychology. Her subject specification involved Vedic Mathematics, Educational Philosophy, Research Methodology and Statistics. She got Dr. N.B. Pillai Memorial Literacy Award in 2017, Best Teacher Award in 2019, Best Articles on Teachers' Day in 2010 and 11. Her research experience involved 2 major and 3 minor projects. She has 26 years of teaching experience in college education. She published 35 research articles and 12 book chapters, and also published the book Vedaganitham in Kerala State Institute of Languages, and also published 16 general articles. Now, under her guidance, 4 scholars are doing research leading to PhD. So, today, we are blessed with such an eminent personality in the field of education as a resource person. Thank you all.
Thank you, Diva ma'am. Let us invite our resource person, Dr. Smitha S. for giving a grateful thought. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pavitra. A warm good evening, dear all. Actually, it's my pleasure and privilege to be here today as a part of this talk series. First of all, I would like to thank the whole team of Marquis Phillips Training College, especially the Insight Indepth, the research wing of this esteemed institution, for having me also a part of this program. I'm so happy that all faculty members there are so close to me. Most respected Principal Dr. Benedict sir, Dr. Reku sir, dear GB teacher, Joju sir, Bindu teacher. Thank you so much, Bindu teacher, for inviting me. Then my teacher, Dr. Deepthi teacher, Ansi teacher, Shiny teacher, and Nina teacher, Shalini teacher, and so on. All are so connected with me, and so close friends, and we do discussions in between and all. So anyway, thanks a lot. I know that for the last 3 days, you all were busy with the organization of the great event. Really appreciating the whole team for the successful conduct of the grand function, the international conference. Okay, now we will move on to the topic of discussion, that is research. Let me start my presentation. Is it visible? Can you all see the?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay, slide. Thank you. Then research. It's so exciting, a very interesting aspect, research. All of us are doing research. No, you are a very rich team of research scholars. You are on the way of your completion. That is, you are continuously doing work on your the selected areas. You are doing a lot of research. So anyway, congratulations to all for selecting the conduct of research. Really appreciating all of you for doing such wonderful research in your area. I wish all success for your research activities. Let it be the fruitful within limited days. Okay. So anyway, all of us are doing research in many different areas. That is knowingly, unknowingly, accidentally, or purposefully. We do research in our daily life. Our life is actually full of research. That is what we are experimenting every day. We are doing many research activities. And research is actually, we have to say that research is life itself, because we are doing many research activities in our day-to-day life. So in our day-to-day life, we do come across with a number of research activities. I want your help also. If I provide certain situations from daily life, can you please just try for solutions? Can you all? Shall I give some situations? Okay, thank you. So here is a solution. Research is as part of life. Here is a solution. Context 1. That is, whenever something is missing in our day-to-day life, no, the very first thing most of us do is we shout instead of look for the missing object. There is more effective way to deal with this problem, the scientific method. So this is the data given. The context is, I went to the market to buy some goods with my friend, Miss Smitha. When I reached home, I noticed that my umbrella was missing. So this is the context which is given. So can you just suggest certain some solutions, some alternatives? Can you please suggest some alternatives? How can she get her umbrella back? Just try. Let it be. This is a
Hi, ma'am.
Okay, come on, please.
Actually, where we bought the goods, no, we go again to the shop research and tell that just now I took the goods. Is my umbrella there?
Okay, good.
Search.
Okay,
Go
good.
search in same place. So you do research in same place.
Yeah, we have to go back to that shop again, and if it is there, suppose somewhere in the market, it may
because
be there,
we would have bought lot of the goods and we would have kept for billing. So in place, one shop billing is separate and goods is separate. So we would have kept in the mixed with the goods also.
Okay.
So we better go to the shop and do research.
Do work for finding out that. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. And any more solutions? Any other alternatives? Anybody, please?
Call the shop.
Call the shop. Okay. Because they have gone for shop and they are shopping. Many places they have visited and market, many combination of shops and all. So they have visited many shops also. But still, okay. Anyway, you are saying some alternatives. Very good. Come on, any more? One more, please.
Call her friend, ma'am. Maybe with her friend. She
Okay,
can
good.
call her friend.
Yeah, friend was with her, so maybe with her friend. No, okay, good. Very good. Thank you. And now we'll see the alternatives. Just see, this is only a life aspect. And how do we solve this type of problems? That is what here I have suggested certain solutions, only limited solutions. Maybe you can say a lot solutions through research. We can say that this is the problem here is actually our umbrella is missing. So missing umbrella, that's the problem. So that's the solution. We have to find out a solution for that. And we may get some sort of alternatives like this, solutions or possibilities from where we will get the umbrella back. Likewise, we may get some sort of possibilities. So possibility number 1, that is, we are saying as you have suggested now, I lost it in the market while we were buying goods. So in the market, we have to search again. So we have to go back to the market and maybe it is there somewhere in some shop. So we can search it again in the market. And second possibility or some other possibilities, my friend Mitra, she might be having that umbrella. So she got my umbrella, suppose somewhere she has taken by mistaken, or she has, it is with her, or like this can also happen. So this is also some other alternative. And one more possibility I'm taking is I had misplaced it in the house itself. In my house also, maybe it is there in the house itself. I have forgotten that I have taken this to the market and all. So I have to see this in my home itself. So many possibilities are there. This is simply a life-oriented context. And if it happens in our life, we will be that much, so much involved in that particular activity, and somehow we have to get it back, isn't it? That is how we approach this type of problems. And so, since because of these type of alternatives, these possibilities, then we have to test for that. We have to check whether which one is applicable, which one is realistic, which one is workable like. So here the experiment she is doing is, I searched all over the house for my umbrella. She has taken the possibility 3 in the house. She has checked everywhere, but I could not find it out. So when I went to Mitra to ask if she got my umbrella, she answered in the affirmative. So it is with her, thank God. It is with her. So she said she found it in the bus while we were traveling back home from the market. So it was there. She got it from the bus. These two people were traveling together. So the one is getting the umbrella back. So that is how she, anyway, thank God, the result, she is getting the umbrella. I lost my umbrella and umbrella in the market, and my friend Mitra found it and gave it back to me. This is a simple context. And one more, please. This is the second one. So research is again a part of life. One more context in our life. Context number 2, that is Mr. Ram. He is saying that mother bought me a white shirt to wear to my school function. Okay. I wanted to make sure it fits. So I put the shirt on. My friend Tom came over to show me his new bicycle. While looking at the cool gears, I got grease on my shirt. It's a new shirt and it was a white shirt, but now grease on the shirt. What to do? Can you please suggest some? Any other alternatives?
Try to wash it.
Okay.
Wash it.
Okay, he can wash it. Okay, good. Any other? Because it is grease, they can wash it or not. And okay, any more? Come on, think. And
Other shirt. Other shirt.
Pardon me?
Other shirt.
Okay. Take for some other shirt. No. Okay, this can be replaced by some other shirt. They can buy. Okay, good. Any other? So anyway,
can you use to put take some solution or something to remove that grease from the shirt, and you can wear that same shirt and go in the way it doesn't show it up.
Okay. She has to do some research in that. He has to do some research on it. No. So this is somehow some possible solutions. I have taken this. So solution through research. Problem. Here, this is the problem. First of all, we have to see what is the problem. What is the exact problem? What is the specific problem? It's not in general, but see that the specificity of the problem. The problem here is, the basic problem is that the stain has to be removed from a shirt. Simple. Stain has to be removed from a shirt. That is a simple problem. And now some questions arise. Some certain questions arise. So these are the questions. We can say that, so how can it be? What kind of stain? Is it grease, ink, or any other? Like, what kind of stain? Then what kind of material is the shirt made of? That is a very important thing. Because if it is a cotton shirt, a polyester shirt, or polyester mixed like shirt, the material is different, so that methodology may be different. That way we have to see. Now, what kind of material is the shirt made of? That is exactly they need to get. And what color was the shirt? Okay, let it be there. So these are some questions, only a few questions I have put. You can just frame more questions. And likewise, we have to frame some other questions, research questions we say, because we have to move forward. We have to find some sort of solution. So that this type of questions, exactly this is what we are all doing. We may get some sort of problem, okay, what is the problem? This way we are getting involved into that problem, and in order to get a suitable solution. And here, through observation, so this research question arises, and through observation and we are making it more specific. And here it is a specific problem. How can you remove a grease stain from your cotton shirt? This problem is more specified. First time, the problem is so general. The basic problem is that Stain has to be a stain, whatever it is. We are not bothering about the stain. A stain has to be removed from a shirt. Only that was there. And now the problem is more specific. How can you remove a ghee stain from your cotton shirt? That is, the material is also taken considered, and the stain, type of stain, that's also getting into that screen. Now we have to see how to remove. Okay, we are not at all clear about we are not having any knowledge at all for removing this stain from a shirt. So different mixtures we have to apply now. So that is what we have to get into that. We have to get knowledge. We have to develop our knowledge horizon for getting into a solution. For that hypothesis, there are many methods to remove ghee stain from cotton shirt. And we have to see all the different methods, and we have to get knowledge into that area. And after that, we started experimentation, get knowledge from different sources and follow the instructions for mixing the cleaning substitutes, and then apply. So this is what the procedure we have applied. Now the result, okay, you wash that stained area. Oh, very good. The stain is gone. Thank God, the stain is gone, really gone. In fact, there is no evidence that the shirt was ever stained. That much clear it is. Now there is no spot even. So the conclusion that you would conclude that, that the stain removing method worked very well in removing the type of geese that stained your cotton shirt. So this is somewhat the possibilities, alternatives, or we can say that in research wordings, if we consider, this is these are we cannot say that they are the alternatives. We can say some other things. It is some other words we apply, and that is what the research aspect. So that is why I said no in the beginning. So research in the sense means here, if we consider research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. This is a very catching and attractive quote by Albert Swain Georgi, and John Armstrong, he's adding something to this, that aside from the pure pursuit of knowledge for its own sake, research is linked to problem solving. Research is nothing but problem solving, and problem solving is especially research. So by considering such aspects, we have to move forward, and that is what. So here it is. That is why I said no. Here in our day-to-day life, we do come across with a number of research activities, and that is why I said our life is full of research, and research is life itself. So that is the point to be captured. When we think of research as an academic activity, or certain terms like scientific method, educational research, etc., we usually feel that it is an unfamiliar activity which has no connection with our life, so different from our life. That is what we usually feel. Oh, this is somewhat an educational activity. It is not connected to me. It does not have any relation with me, like we may think. So that mindset is to be completely changed. That is what the quality of a researcher. First of all, that mindset of the researcher. If you do some research thing, get involved into that research activity like this, like a real life activity. We have to get involved. Then we may get some sort of alternative solutions, methodologies, everything that will arise, because research is somewhat a logical activity. A common sense, a logical connection, logical sense is there. That is a thread. It is from the beginning till end, a logical thread is there. So that is how, if we are involving into that research activity, then only that logical thread we can see. So that mindset is to be changed and be more and more empathetic in those situations. So that is what the quality of research, and some other qualities also. It is I have taken like this. See, a researcher, only a few qualities, essential qualities. It is written, researcher should have an analytic mind. The person should be so empathetic viewpoint. because he is the one who is seeing in some others scenario, some other perspective, no? So, and he should have that much of involvement. He, observer the person is, a person should be, he should have some sort of logical reasoning ability. He should apply the logical reasoning ability. The curiosity should be there. Quick thinker, because decision making, it's a process. So he has to take decisions. The researcher has to take decision in between, and his commitment, that is somewhat as an essential aspect of a researcher, and his mindset, that is what we were discussing. So be more and more empathetic in those situations. Once you become empathetic, and when you feel that it is my own problem, it is sure that you will get a set of alternatives like this. Because now you just started thinking and you are getting some sort of alternatives, means sure it is, you are taking it as your own problem. That is why if you are empathetic, then it is sure that you will get a set of alternatives, different means which lead us to solve the problem. So the set of alternatives, we can say that now we just have seen that this set of alternatives in our scientific research terminology, we call them as hypothesis. And the solution, we call it as research findings. As a researcher, our duty is to select the best alternative with which we can move forward to reach a solution. That is what as a researcher, it's our duty. Those alternatives will be there. We will get many alternatives, many hypotheses, we can say that, and we have to select the best, which one, likewise. So what will help you in this selection process? Of course, the selection process, a very wise decision-making process also, and it's nothing but your experience in that area. That only will help you. Your experience in that area, your involvement, as you said, as you did now, your commitment and knowledge depth in that field, your attitude and enthusiasm, the practices you are adopting for strengthening your rich collection of information in that area, etc. All these, your familiarity of the subject, the content area. So all these, then only you can take some sort of decisions on your particular area. So for that, what we need is, we should have a mindset. We should be aimful. So the aim of all research, we all know that aim. What about the aim of any research? The aim of all research, we all know that it is common. It's a common aim. What is that aim? That is an innovation. Whatever it is in that particular area, particular methodology, by applying particular methodology, you are getting something, you are finding something. It may be an innovation. That is, it should be an innovation. If you think so, it should be my research should be an innovation, means that will be. Or let it be a discovery. Let it be. Okay, it was there, but now for the time being, by doing this research, I am getting this result also. So let it be a discovery, or else let it be a solution to a problem. So this way we can see the aim of research is common. It is an innovation. That is the first thing, or else let it be a discovery, or else a solution to a particular problem. But when we do or involve in an academic research, we should have an aspiration. We should have that. We should have an aspiration that our research results must appear in the best places, bringing laurels and rewards to the researcher, the institution, and the country. Okay, that way we have to think, aim higher. So you should aim. At least we will get something, but your aim should be that way. Our research result, my research result, must appear in the best places, bringing laurels and rewards to the researcher, the institution, and the country. We know that University Grants Commission, UGC, is also reminding the research fraternity about that key aspect, that is of aimfulness with the establishment of a consortium for academic research and ethics. Usually we say care list, UGC care list, because for that ethical concern and all, then only they will consider it as which is a very good work to be published. Like, so UGC is ensuring the clarity of the research, clarity and ethical factors in research, and it's a step forward to enhance research capacity and to nurture research culture. in the institutions of higher education in India, that is Consortium for Academic Research and Ethics. So in this circumstance, we should have an idea on how the policymakers deal the situation. So because it is National Education Policy, Education Policy 2020 is ongoing, the process of implementation. So they have said something about the research aspect at all in there, but which is a futuristic impact. So futuristic action which they are going to implement. Our researchers, especially regarding PhD programs and research activities, they have the definite aim, so that we should know. And and as a part of point number 15.9, it is said that all fresh PhD entrants, irrespective of discipline, will be required to take credit-based courses in teaching, education, pedagogy, writing related to their chosen PhD subject during their doctoral training period. Exposure to pedagogic practices, that is your doctoral training period. This type of courses means your coursework. Maybe it is somewhat related to the coursework. Again, they say that exposure to pedagogical practices, designing curriculum, credible evaluation system, communication, and so on will be ensured, since many research scholars will go on to become faculty or public representatives of their or communicators of their chosen disciplines. That is what they say, that we should be thorough with our research activities. We should be accountable on our research findings and the implication of those findings. Because exposure to pedagogical practices, that is what they are going to implement, designing curriculum, credible evaluation system, communication, and so on will be ensured. So how this is to be ensured? That is, again, they are saying PhD students will also have a minimum number of hours of actual teaching experience gathered through teaching assistantships and other means. So PhD programs at universities around the country will be reoriented for this purpose. It is given in page number 43 in the National Education Policy 2020. That is, you are also going to undergo actual teaching experience. You have to gather experience from actual teaching experience, and PhD programs at universities around the country will be reoriented for this purpose. It may be in due course of time, that may be in the implementation. Likewise, some changes are waiting. So they are going to reorient the program. So now let's see what NEP 2020 says about research. This is about the PhD program. Now what about they say about the research? According to National Education Policy 2020, special mention is there as point number 7. That is that they say that today the criticality of research is more than ever before for the economic, intellectual, societal, environmental, and technological health and progress of a nation. So criticality of research is more than ever before. So due significance is given to research work. And they are given many areas are also they have given. So I'm not taking those areas because it is already done. We have portion started. And they say that facing and addressing these challenges will require high quality interdisciplinary research across fields that must be done in India and cannot simply be imported. Remember that all those research works should be done in India. This can be done because we have that much of brilliant brains. So this research work can be done in India and no need of importing all this from other countries. Research in the arts and humanities, along with innovations in the sciences and social sciences, are therefore extremely important for the progress and enlightened nature of a nation. That is what they say regarding the research. And what are they going to do for this enhancement of research activities? So that hence for promoting research in colleges and universities, National Education Policy has decided the inclusion of research and internship in the undergraduate curriculum. So UG level also, research and internship, they are going to introduce faculty career management systems that give due weightage to research and the governance and regulatory changes that encourage an environment of research and innovation. So everywhere the research culture they are going to develop. So all of these aspects are extremely critical for developing a research mindset in the country. So anyway, due emphasis is there in national education policy regarding paradigm shifts in research. And for that, this policy envisions the establishment of a National Research Foundation, NRF. The overarching goal of NRF is to enable the culture of research to permeate through our higher education institutions. So this is what regarding NEP, regarding the research activities. It is we can see that due emphasis is there for research activities. So through this, what I'm trying to say is that you should be familiar with the current scenario and that the current national policy is giving due weightage to research. So in this scenario, what you can do is after the successful completion, it's a request only, it's a suggestion or something, advice or something we can take. After the successful completion of your research work, just send your research. The findings of your research, latest research breakthroughs, your innovation to any state educational agency or national educational agency so that your work will be recognized, acknowledged, and above all, if it is a beneficial aspect for the nation, it would be a strong pillar for our nation's progress. No? So why will it be in the cupboards of a university? That is what is happening nowadays. All research findings that all there in the cupboards of universities, it is kept safely there, no? So no one is hearing what are the outcomes, what are the methodologies, nothing is happening nowadays. So in that scenario, it is better if you do so, because if you have that confidence that this is somewhat an innovative idea, so this is to be known by everybody, we can do like this. Publication is also, of course, it's good. But even then, the capturing effect for this type of activities, capturing effect will be higher. So they can just try this. And with this mindset, you have to start your research. Because once you selected we all know that once you selected the topic, it is too difficult for it to become changed. Anyway, that is not a problem of our choice. For the time being, no need to bother about the research topic at all, because this is a research group, and all of us are already selected the topic and in the ongoing process of completion. So no need to bother about the research topic and all. You have selected the best topic. Okay, that's it. So let's see what is the next thing. What is next? How can we make our research more innovative? How to undergo research activities fruitfully for achieving integrity through research culture? How can it be fruitfully done, fruitfully implemented? That is what we have to think further. No? And it is said there are no shortcut to success. The strategy is nothing but enhance your knowledge horizon. For you have to learn a lot. You have to be more familiarized with your research area, research methodologies, everything in all, each and every loop and corner of the research you should be familiar with. Otherwise, somewhere something will miss. That time it is too difficult for us to correlate all these. That is why we may think in some cases we may think in between. Oh, how can I frame my objective? How can I frame my hypothesis? What about the methodology? Which methodology I have to adopt? Like we won't get some sort of correlation. So it is better, first of all, once you get into the research scenario, what you have to do at first, immediately after entering into the research activity, you should learn a lot from regarding the research aspect and all. And for that, you have to frame a research philosophy. You have to frame a research philosophy, and that philosophy in the sense to design a proper research framework, which is adequate for the purpose. We should ask certain interrelated questions to ourselves. So once you start your research work, we should try to know the A to Z of research activity, as I mentioned earlier. And philosophical framework, we can say that it is ontologically, epistemologically, and axiologically. Ontologically means it refers to assumptions about the nature of reality, because you are doing a research in a particular area, and what is the reality, the prevailing set of conditions, what is the reality existing here, that anyway you have to see, you have to know that. then only you can say some sort of gap, or you can find out some sort of gap in that research activity. Because usually when you do some sort of research and all, usually in our research activities, majority people do that, some sort of activity that prevailing situations, what is existing, what about the condition of the existing situation. Likewise, it is a natural aspect that we are all conducting. So anyway, that we have to know. So assumptions about the nature of reality. Here, why are we doing research? We will get answers, or we have to ask ourselves. We have to get answers also to these type of questions. Why? What is the purpose of my research? Why am I doing research? Why are we doing this research? And who? Target population. Know your audience or sample. Who is best placed to research? Where I have to do the research? What are we researching? Actually, what are we researching? What is the area? So understand what it is you are researching, or it may be the efficiency of a process, or it may be the effectiveness of an outcome, or the combination, relevance of this both, combination of both, purpose. Likewise, that may be, you should get some answers, specific answers regarding these type of real type of questions. No? And second one is, that is the epistemological base. Epistemology concerns about knowledge. Knowledge in the sense means, as I said earlier, research methodology and all, what are the things we are going to implement for finding the solution. All those things, those different types of knowledge. How to methodological aspect, or what about the sample, what about the tool. Likewise, many we have to, how are we researching, and the methodology, method, sample, tools, techniques. And then we can say that what type of tool we have to use, which is the one which is appropriate. Questionnaires, interviews, confidence logos, observations, then research design and all, that is pre-test, post-test and all, inventory, learning checklist, summary. Likewise, many words, many terms we used to be familiarized with when we enter into the world of research. No, so all those things, it is, you should try your level best to know, to learn about that. That sure, that will help you a lot, because you will get that type of confidence. In all our activities, you will get some sort of alternative, likewise some sort of solutions. Only thing is that you have to select which is the best. There you can just approach to the eminent persons. They will help you all. Those who have some sort of greater experience in that area, they all will help you, so that once you know that, you will get some sort of confusions, you will get some sort of questions, then only you can decide the best. Okay. Otherwise, by blindly we will take something that won't get some sort of correlation, that won't get some sort of logical connection. So that is, make sure that this your research is in the fruitful way. So, and next is the axiological part. That's very important one. Axiology refers to the role of values and ethics within the research process. So here it follows the assurance of ethical practices in research. We should follow the ethical practices. Don't take any unethical practices. Don't practice. Once you practice, no, it becomes a habit. So don't practice any unethical practices in research. We can do some sort of interference. That's okay, but at the same time, don't do any unethical practices. So do we, for some sort of questions, no, do we use any biased methods? Or do we do our research with some other selfish motive? Or do we apply any unethical practices for data collection? Do we manipulate the data? Likewise, we have to ask ourselves, not to show, not to convince anybody, to convince ourselves. That is your ethical aspect. So likewise, we have to take some sort of decision, some philosophy we have to frame. So in that ontological part, epistemological part, and axiological part, and we have to frame this type of philosophies. And so we should ask this type of questions, ask these type of ethical questions to ourselves regarding our research. All these unethical practices will surely affect our research findings. To have a control on this practice and to completely avoid all these type of practices, researchers need to adopt an integrative approach to the research, as because it is written research is primarily a self-driven and self-satisfying human enterprise, which has social extensions. Ultimately, your research is, you only know your research. Because if you are confident about that research activities, your methodology, your hypothesis, your tool, which is a contribution, which is your contribution, your tool. So just take care of that preparation of the tool and all. So it is a self-driven activity. There is no need to force you all to do this like that. So only your other teachers, other people can help you all a lot if you need so. If you want so, you can help. You can surely you will get the help. But it is a self-driven and self-satisfying human enterprise. Your practices should be make sure that it is an ethical aspect. So research is primarily a self-driven and self-satisfying human enterprise which has social extensions. Thus, after the philosophical analysis, we are reaching up to these questions. What is the study about? Where will the study be carried out? What type of data is necessary? Where necessary data is available? So how much time is needed to complete the study? What will be the sampling design? Which tools will be identified to collect data? How data will be analyzed? That way, these are the different questions we have to ask to ourselves. And now we'll see some sort of methods. We can see to get the answers to these type of processes, research process, we can just move forward. That is, first is a scientific method. So an inquiry, that is in the beginning of this session, we have just did some inquiry spirit activities. No, an inquiry is a natural technique for search. For research, something is missing means it is quite natural that you will get some sort of curiosity. You will get some sort of inquiry spirit that you have to get it somehow. So that is a natural technique for a search. But when it is used systematically and scientifically, it takes the form of a method. And so we can say that it's a scientific method. And here are 10, we have to undergo 10 different stages of research activities. Each and every researcher should undergo this 10 different stages, because then only you are going to contribute a great thing, an innovative thing, a great fruitful thing to the nation, to yourself, to your society, to your country, and all likewise. No. So first step number 1, it is identifying the gap in the knowledge. That sure you have to identify, and why, what is the importance, what is the significance of your research study, why you are saying that this is okay, this way I have to do a research. No, so the knowledge gap should be there. You have to rectify, you have to identify that knowledge gap, and you can just say that, you can confidently say that in order to fill that gap, I have undertaken this research. No, my research work is so fruitful in bridging that gap. So that would be your contribution. So step number 1, identifying the gap in knowledge. And step number 2, that is identifying the antecedents or hypotheses or variables or likewise causes we have to identify. Then step number 3, it is formulating hypothesis. And step number 4, it is somewhat stating the goals or objectives. And step number 5, collecting relevant information. And step number 6, it is testing the hypothesis. And step number 7, it is interpreting the findings. Step number 8, it is comparing the findings with prior researchers' findings. And step number 9, it is modifying theory. You are framing a theory based on your research study. And step number 10, emergence of new questions which may lead to further research. You are just closing your research, and then a new problem arises, and you can do it as a further dimension. It in the further dimension with verifying multiple factors at all. Like, so first of all, we'll do with identifying the research gap in knowledge. First is identifying the research gap. So researchers, knowledge gap or research gap represents an output of literature review. You have to read a lot, get a vast knowledge in your area, and just see that where the knowledge gap or research gap represents. then the researchers need to identify important gaps, inconsistencies, and or controversies in the literature. So this serves to establish the need for additional research in the topic area of interest. So this is only through enhancing our knowledge and through the research literature, reviewing the literature, or else further the researcher's observation, researcher's experience also will help in doing this, in finding out and recognizing the gap. No, so we can see the gap. Miles 2017, a study in his studies, Taxonomy of Research Gaps, he has identified 7 key areas of research gap that could be identified as follows. So here it is. These are the gaps according to Miles in his Taxonomy of Research Gaps. It is given that's contradictory evidence gap, 1. Then knowledge void gap. So practical knowledge gap, then methodological gap, empirical gap is there, theoretical gap, population gap, then provocative knowledge gap, then absolute knowledge gap. Different knowledge gaps, 7 different knowledge gaps he has identified, and this is a very good study. If you find time, just read how to find out this gap and all. Anyway, we'll see one by one. First is contradictory evidence gap. So here it is given the table. What is that gap and how it can be identified? Like the contradictory evidence gap arises when a new research outcome is contrary to a generally accepted idea or conclusion. So some idea is there which is generally accepted. If the research findings it's not suited to that, it's not in tune with that research, our beliefs and all, then we can say that it is contradictory. So this gap contradiction, this gap entitles contradiction in thought in regards to findings from previous research, which could be misleading as well. This gap involves contradictions in the findings of the prior research. For example, students' academic performance and their anxiety level. If a study gives the result that there is no correlation between academic performance of students and their anxiety level, that is somewhat a contradiction of the common belief. There is no relationship between the academic performance of students and their anxiety level means we do believe that there is relationship, but there is a study result shows that there is no relationship. So that is somewhat a contradiction to our common belief. So what we can do is we do believe that. So in such situations, in order to rectify the contradiction, we can do further research. There is a contradiction or contradictory gap or contradictory evidence gap is there. So here, in order to rectify the gap, we can do further research. Here is an area. Then that is actually it is useful in biomedical research aspect and all. That, for example, aspirin and heart attack prevention. So aspirin is useful in heart attack prevention. Some group of doctors say it has some side effects. Some other group of people say no. So it is actually what is whether there is a relationship between aspirin and heart attack prevention. The study is still going on. So in such situations, contradictory results, in order to avoid this factual errors, we can do further research. And that is what. Then second is the knowledge void gap. So knowledge gap is there. It's a common gap in research. That is actually, these type of research gaps are opportunities for researchers, because in a particular area, there is knowledge are not at all explored till date. So they can do, so the researchers can do research in that particular area. If you have formulated a new teaching strategy, you are all finding some teaching strategy and all. Through your research, you can convince others that on this new knowledge, new area of research, new knowledge that gap is there. So this is what a new knowledge which I have framed through my research. So this is the a new area is explored likewise. Till now, till date, nobody has explored this particular area. So that area we can select and we can do some research. Then next one is the practical knowledge gap. Practical knowledge gap is research works which are formulated without any practical knowledge or purely theory based may get some results which may be different from reality. only based on theoretical aspect, if we formulate the findings, no? That would have any fruitful as base of practical applications. So that cannot be accepted in such situation. To avoid that the problem. So theoretical, that is, we have to include practical aspects also. Then only the result will be so reliable and fruitful. So in such situations, we can do further research. Then next is the methodological gap. Here is different methods we can apply. Different methodologies we have to try. So gap addresses conflicts with the research methods in the prior studies and offers a new line of research that is divergent from those research methods. So different methods, methods or techniques, different survey method or experimental method, different or else some techniques like observation. Likewise, we can just change the methodology and we'll do further research. The next is the empirical gap. Empirical gap is collected data regarding the data, collected data. This conflict deals with the research findings or propositions need to be evaluated or empirically verified. More data in this circumstance are to be collected because data is not at all sufficient or data is not at all trustworthy. So we need to get more data in such situation and more empirical validation is to be done. So there we have to find more data collection. We have to do more data collection and again further evaluation to be done. Then next is the theoretical gap. Here again is the application of theory, the type of gap that deals with the gaps in theory with the prior research. That is what. So researchers and scholars could examine whether one of those theories is superior in terms of the gap in the prior research. Maybe the theory application word gap, some other theories are not applied fruitfully. So a combination of theories you can apply. So it is better if we apply like this. That way you can just change the theories or else a combination of theories. You can include much more theories also in the research and you will get some other result. Maybe some other outcome you will receive. So that way you can do. And next is the population gap. Population gap is nothing but the sample size, sample or population, different population group we are selecting. Some in college level studies are there, college students if we do something, then higher secondary level students if we do something, then school students if we are doing something. Likewise, you can just change the sample or population if you can change and then further research if you are doing, that is the population gap. So this gap is a type of research regarding the population that is not adequately represented or under-researched in the evidence base or prior research. That is what research gap. So this research gap is very, very important in your research study. If you are doing a research, first of all, you are accountable to answer why this research is that much significant. There you have to answer the question, there is a research gap existing in this situation, in this scenario, the research gap is there, or else what type of gap they can just specify. And there my study is much significant, very, very significant, because through this way only I can bridge it, we can bridge the gap. So that is for doctoral presentation and all, it is the first thing you have to say that this is where the research gap. What is your innovation? Why your study is so unique? In that way, you can just confidently you have to answer that my study is unique because this is filling that, this is bridging that particular gap. Okay, that is, it would be quite worthful. Now, step 2, that is identification, research process, that is identifying the antecedent or causes. This is regarding the variables. We all know that different variables are there. What is a variable? In the sense we know that all of us know that a variable is a concept or abstract idea that can be described in measurable terms. Remember, it should be in the measurable terms. In research, this term refers to the measurable characteristics, that is like qualities, traits, behavioral traits, or attributes of a particular individual object or situation being studied. Likewise, many variables are there. Then variables are characteristics which are manipulated. Variables, we can say that different types of variables are also there. They are the characteristics which are manipulated. We can control the variables, or we can see the observation, or observe the variable. We can just test the variable. So this is, they are the, there we are doing this application and all. So there are different types of variable. Dependent variable is there, which is also known as the predicted variable. And independent variables are there, that is also known as the selected variable. For example, if we consider the study, a study of teacher-student classroom interaction at different levels of schooling. At different levels of schooling, we are going to study the classroom interaction, teacher-student classroom interaction, different levels of schooling we have to take. So in this study, the independent variable, which is independent of all activities, it is the level of schooling. 4 categories of levels here we can suggest: upper primary level, upper primary level, then secondary and higher secondary level, levels of schooling, various level of schooling we have to take. And which is the dependent variable here, the teacher-student classroom interaction. Because as per the level, this one is changing. So as per the level of school, this dependent, this variable teacher-student classroom interaction is dependent on that particular level. So that we can take that this is a dependent variable. And some other variables are there. There are extraneous variable, which cannot be controlled by the researcher. Or for example, effectiveness of different methods of teaching a subject. For example, teaching social science, we can take effectiveness of different methods of teaching social science. Here, variables such as teachers' competence, then teachers' enthusiasm, teachers' age, then socioeconomic status also contribute substantially to the teaching learning process. It cannot be controlled by the researcher. We are just mentioning different teaching methods, and we are finding the effectiveness of those methods only. And we cannot control these type of extraneous or uncontrolled variables. We cannot do anything with that. They are known as extraneous variables, which cannot be controlled by the researcher. And certain intervening variables are also there. Again, that is, some of these variables cannot be controlled or measured, but have an impact, an important effect upon the result of the study, as it intervenes between cause and effect, causation and causation process, cause and effect. Example for intervening variable, if we test the effectiveness of reinforcement on learning. Reinforcement is better or not for learning. If we test the effectiveness, we can say that factors other than reinforcement, that is anxiety level, fatigue, and motivation may be intervening variables. So not only the reinforcement, some other variables are also there. They have some sort of interventions. They can do some sort of intervention in the cause-effect relationship of these types. So they are known as intervening variables, which cannot be controlled by the researcher. So this is that's about the second stage, okay, the variables of the study. And now we have to do the third one, formulating hypothesis. Formulating hypothesis, that is, hypothesis is something, a critical part of any scientific exploration. We have formulated certain alternatives there in the beginning. Likewise, in the scientific study, we say that they are the hypothesis, or hypothesis in the sense means it's a calculated guess. It's a guess actually, but it's a calculated guess. That's better because we have that sort of experiences in that area. We have such a lot of knowledge depth in that area. Likewise, then only we are taking these assumptions. We are taking these alternatives. That is why it is calculated guess. So hypothesis is a critical part of any scientific exploration. It represents what researchers expect to find in a study or experiment. It allows an intelligent guess for the solution of the problem. Hypotheses facilitate the extension of knowledge in that in an area. They provide tentative explanations of facts and phenomena and can be tested and validated. Hypotheses are calculated guesses or tentative generalizations, we can say. And there are here also the different types of hypotheses are there. For research hypothesis, directional research hypothesis, non-directional research hypothesis, then statistical hypothesis, null hypothesis, an alternative or always whenever a null hypothesis is there, there should be a corresponding alternative hypothesis. So likewise, different hypotheses here. Research hypothesis means when a prediction or hypothesized relationship is to be tested by scientific methods, it is termed as a research. For example, there will be, if I say research hypothesis, there will be a relationship between academic performance and anxiety level of students, because those two variables we have taken and we have formulated the relationship. So that is a research hypothesis. And directional hypothesis means it has some sort of direction. For example, there will be a negative relationship between students' academic performance and their anxiety level. If we say that the direction is specified there, so that is known as directional research hypothesis. And non-directional means nothing is there, no direction is specified. There is a difference in the anxiety level of adolescents, girls of high IQ and low IQ. There is difference, only that much is there. And statistical hypothesis means because it is set in terms of statistical values, arithmetic mean or correlational values, like in terms of that. And on the basis of those statistics, if we frame the hypothesis, we can say that it is statistical hypothesis. For example, the mean score of achievement of students taught by method A equals the mean score of achievement of students taught by method B. So it is in terms of the score, mean value, it is said that is statistical hypothesis. And of course, null hypothesis, everybody knows. In the null form, the researcher makes a statement that no relationship exists between parameter and statistic. Parameter is population value, population mean, and statistic it means the sample. There is no relationship exists. If we predict like that, that is null hypothesis. At the same time, there should be, if we reject or accept the null hypothesis, there should be an alternative hypothesis. And we can say that there is significant difference between the academic achievement of high school students and that of non-high school students. Likewise, we can just frame the hypothesis. These all you have to just go into deeper knowledge, get deeper knowledge in all these areas. Likewise, we should have thorough knowledge. And now, stating the goals or objectives. So we know that objectives should be clearly phrased in operational terms, specifying exactly what the researcher is going to do. That is action oriented. That in that way we have to frame objectives. Should be action oriented, or for what purpose. That should be specific and should be in the measurable term. So objective use always action verbs, because it is a declarative statement which provides direction to investigate the variables under the study. So objectives always use action verbs. That is, for example, we can say to study the influence of sustainable tourism practices on the economy of the state. To study, to know, likewise, declarative statements, and we should use action verbs to find out to frame that objectives. Next is that collection of relevant information, collection of different data. There we have to do a lot of work. Here it is tools, techniques and all. So tool is a device or an instruments tool. There are different tools given, and the test, checklist, rating scale, cumulative records, questionnaire, inventory, schedule, anecdotal record, portfolio, rubric. There are many tools. Tool is an instrument which we use for getting the data collected. No? So it's an instrument. So it's for the research activity. Your tool is your contribution. Remember that. Tool should have the primary role. It's a pivotal position. If the tool is okay, means your research work is 95% okay. Then remaining part is interpretation, analysis, and all that will be there. But even then, tool means that should be clearly, specifically, you have to write all the items in the tool, and that should be in tune with the variables, in tune with the objectives, in tune with the hypothesis which we have framed, and each and every item should have a connection with the title of the study, because it is so logically connected. Tool is through this instrument you are getting the data, and this is the data you are going to to be used for testing further analysis and all. And the tool is gone means no result, no good fine result we will get. No, so that is your contribution. You are going to be known in terms of your tool. So remember that a tool is a great thing. So always be peculiar about the tool, its standardization procedure and all. Make sure that you are doing a great job. No unethical practices are being implemented. So it's better that way. You have to try. Only thing is that you have to, in the research activities, what else we have to do? No, only thing is that we have to frame the tool. So at least that we have to do it in a proper way, in a better way, the best way we have to frame the tool. That ensure that always in your study, because for reference at all, everybody will use your research reports, your research thesis. All the coming generation, they all will use your research reports, research thesis. They will take for further references, and that time that should be there. That tool and all the procedures for the preparation of tool and all should be clearly specified, and the tool should be that much qualitative, that much attractive in all sense. So that we. Then next is different techniques are there. So observation projects, assignments, worksheets, seminars, and reports, interviews, self-supporting, different techniques are there. You're all familiar with all those things. And now different sampling procedures are there. So probability sampling is there and non-probability sampling is there. And what about probability sampling? That is in which each member of population has an equal chance of being selected. That is probability sampling. But in non-probability sampling, a particular member of the population is being chosen is unknown. So no equal chance of occurrence. That is what non-probability sampling. Probability sampling, everybody is getting equal chance of occurrence. That is what. Then different sampling methods are there. Simple random sampling, stratified cluster sampling, then convenience sampling, quota sampling, the non-probability sampling methods. Purposive sampling, snowball sampling, then like the systematic sampling. Here is also problem. Probability sampling also we use this systematic sampling. So likewise, different sampling methods are also there. So here again, you have to get into those aspects. And next is the testing of hypothesis. What about the testing of hypothesis in the sense means we have to apply certain statistical procedures. So for each aspect, for each different types of nature of the research work, there should be some different specified statistical application is there. So according to that nature of the research, you have to select the statistical applications. So researcher now uses appropriate statistical techniques to verify and test the hypothesis of the study stated as per stated hypothesis. What about how it is statistically tested, how it is stated in that way, and what about the nature of the research? That's also very important in the selection of statistical techniques for further analysis. And next is what the interpretation of research. That is, here the researcher interprets the findings, tries to explain these findings based on logic and creativity. Here, this is very important aspect of finding of the research process, interpretation of research. Because some quantitative aspects and all, in some quantitative aspects and all, if we, without considering any logical applications, if we write the answer as it is, as such, as what we get means, we won't get that type of logical conclusions. You know, for example, for a correlational study, if there is, the question may be like this: what about the correlation? There is correlation between the height of a person and his intelligence. As a common man, we know that there is no correlation between these two. But as a statistical, as in the quantitative aspect, if we do something, we may get some sort of results. If we get some 0.9, likewise, if we get means, we may only if we look at that statistical value, we write it as there is high correlation. So that's not true. So in such situations, we have to apply logic also. In this type of answers, if we get some sort of answers, we have to apply logic our creativity to a great extent we can apply, but logical connection that should be there for interpretation of the findings. And now next is comparing the findings with prior researchers' findings. That's also to be done by the researchers. That is, at this step, the researcher tries to find out whether the researcher's conclusions match those of the prior researchers or not. So you can do, in our common research, we do like that. We write a heading like discussion. Based on certain prior studies, we do discuss our interpretations, our research result on the basis of other further already conducted studies. No, that is to be done, because then only the research gap that is there. So this way they are saying, and this is what this way I am getting like this. You can do like that. So at this step, the researcher tries to find out whether his conclusions match those of the prior researchers or not, because many can say that if any contradictory gap is there, likewise some knowledge gap or contradictory gap is there, anybody can do the same thing in a further different situations. This can be repeated, no? So that way, so the comparison is essential always. And if not, then the researcher attempts to find out why conclusions don't match with other researchers by analyzing prior studies further. Again, we had to rectify. We can have our own rectifications. Why my study is like this and their study, they are do that. So there you will get a loophole. So, okay, this is because this study, they have taken the sample like this, and I have taken the sample, and the circumstance or the laboratory settings is setting that is different in both the studies. Likewise, we can have some sort of interpretations. So that you have to specify. This is because this is the way it is. Both are different. That is why it is getting so. Likewise, now in step number 9, you are modifying the theory. Already existing theory is there, and now you are getting a new result. You have invented something, so you can just on the basis of the outcome, you can modify the theory. So formulate again. And now next problem again begins, emergence of new questions which may lead to further research. So the further questions may be again asked to begin a new research. So this all these 10 steps, sure, a researcher should undergo. You have to go through all these different 10 stages. I'm saying that different stages of research activity. So then we can so proudly, so confidently, we can say that, okay, I have done my study in a clear manner, in a vivid manner, like we can say that. Now, let's see some ethical considerations of research also. Research needs to adhere to an ethical code of conduct. These ethical considerations are as follows. That is, maintain strict confidentiality. That is, researchers should maintain strict confidentiality about the information obtained from the respondents. We do collect data from our sample, and we should be assured that in the questionnaire or in the tool itself, we assure that the data will be kept confidential and it will be used only for the research activities. So that you should follow. That is what the first one. The researcher should not make use of hidden cameras, microphones, tape recorders, or observers without the respondent's permission. So similarly, private correspondence should not be used without the concerned respondent's permission. So we should not use those type of activities. And informed consent, that should be there. That is very important. Informed consent in the sense means that everybody should be familiarized with all aspects. That is, for example, in an experimental study, when volunteers are used as subjects, the researcher should explain the procedures completely. That is, experimental will go on for 6 months, like we can just tell them, along with the risk involved and the demands that he or she should make upon the participants of the study, such as the subjects will be required to stay back for 1 hour after school hours. Like, it is to be informed earlier and get the consent from the students. If possible, the subject should be informed about the purpose of the experiment or research. While dealing with school children, especially they are minor students, very little students, or some sort of other guardians or parents, their consent should be obtained. So this phenomenon is known as informed consent. That should be there. make sure that you have done it in a proper manner. Then acknowledgement. You should acknowledge all in your study, thesis, report writing. You should acknowledge them. The researcher should give due credit to all those who have helped him in the research procedure, tool construction, data collection, data analysis, or preparation of the research report. Even the sample also, we are simply forgetting the sample, those who have contributed a lot for us for the data. So we have done our experiment upon them. So, and again, we are not at all acknowledging, means it's it is not at all a good aspect. So we should acknowledge all the person. Then avoid research misconducts. Misconducts in the sense fabrication. Fabrication, it's an act of consorting research or reporting observations that were never made. Without doing a research, if we write it as it has already been done, means it is fabricated aspects, no? And then falsification means information or data, document or evidence so as to misleading aspects. Falsification, to alter informations. What is right, it is not at all given in the right form, it is somewhat misleading. And plagiarism. You all know that plagiarism is simply copying somebody's work and writing in our own name. And that is all those things to be avoided, because UGC has taken steps for recognizing this type of misconduct in research. So be ensure they all these down. Then ethics is to be, you have to keep ethics in sampling methods and data collection, and ethics in tool validation process everywhere. All these ethical aspects to be made sure that you have done a great work. Okay, then that's all about, and I hope this is somewhat beneficial, and if it is useful to you all. So, and I wish all success in your research activities and all. Okay, thank you. And in conclusion, if I can say that research is primarily a self-driven and self-satisfying human enterprise, which has social extensions. The present scenario has unfortunately transformed research as a market-driven activity, which may generate wealth, but often at the cost of the self-satisfying pleasure of discovery. Research integrity and ethical conduct are essential for researchers to really enjoy the pleasure of discovering something that we should experience, that we should enjoy, and of knowing the unknown. In order to achieve this, it is necessary that the future researchers are adequately primed about research integrity and ethics at their formative ages. Okay, that's all. Thank you. I wish all success in your research endeavors. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Smitha ma'am. Ma'am, it is a very fruitful talk. I'm sure I'll get more knowledge related to this topic. Discuss about research philosophies such as ontological, epistemological, and axiological, and about scientific methods and its 10 stages. Definitely, you are explained in depth. The talk will help a lot in our research process. Thank you, ma'am. And dear participants, it's time for discussion. A chance to everyone to clarify their doubts. Now floor is open for participants.
Hi, ma'am. I'm Mary from Bangalore. I'm actually a MSW professional, but I have done lot of projects, but what is the research design you explained very clearly. So I have felt like I am sitting in my post-graduation class. So you explained and you made all PowerPoint very simple. Anyone can understand it and very clear. For me, it's only appreciation, no doubts. Actually, you have cleared all my doubts. So it's very good. I learned a lot. I can do more presentation. Like I do often PPT. So I got idea how to do. Your PPT is very excellent, and I got idea how to do it. And very excellent. Lot of back work you have done, ma'am. Lot background work you have done. Lot.
Thank you.
And you have done. You have totally researched about the topic. Like you have gone into depth and you have excelled presentation. So my hearty congratulations to you. All the best, ma'am, and all the best for your life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Have anyone any questions to clarify their doubts, please? Ma'am, there is a question in the chat box. May I read the question?
Okay, you can please.
Could you
Research-
please clarify the context in which research philosophies?
Research philosophy means it is the totality. I mean, totality of all those activities. What else we do? We have to search for the in-depth of all those activities. That is the research philosophy everywhere. Even in a small activity, if you do something, then also there is philosophy. Philosophy means the search for the ultimate truth. So different aspects we have to. That is, one is the reality part. So when we consider a research activity, when you go enter into a research area, means you have to see the reality, what is existing there. Then only you can find the research gap and all. If it is existing, some gap is there or not. That is ontological part. That is one dimension, finding the reality. And then after getting the dimension of the reality, you can move forward to the application of knowledge, the knowledge enhancements. How should I do the research in this particular area? I have identified the gap. Okay, this is there. So I can do some other research in this particular area. Then whichever samples I have to choose, and what about the tool and all, whichever methods I have to, that is the epistemological base. Knowledge base, epistemological base. Based on the reality, we are framing this epistemological base, and axiological means we have to do everything ethically. Very much essential in that sheer ethical aspects in all these activities. That is, so everywhere the philosophical implications are there. Okay. Whatever be our activities, everywhere we have to apply. Even in our life also, we can have some sort of philosophy. So whatever we do, that should be according to that fruit of that. As I said at the last, we have to enjoy the fruit of that discovery. We have to enjoy that from unknown to known, what we are taking, we are getting. That we have to enjoy. That enjoyment, that the happiness is somewhat. So that is why that's philosophy should be there everywhere. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Have any questions? Any doubts?
Teacher, I'm Dr. B. Thank you very much, teacher, for your lively presentation. And it is highly useful. And also the way the topic is being presented, it is very highly impressive, teacher. Thank you very much. So on behalf of Mathia Plus Training College Research Wing, I extend my gratitude to you, teacher, and I would like to know, that is a personal thing also, to know about the details of the topic you are dealing with your major research project. And I think that will be highly useful for our teachers also. Is it a UGC project, teacher?
No, teacher. Major research ICSSR. That is completed.
So now the project is going on.
Presently, I am doing
already
a project in Kerala Women's Commission, teacher. That is problems of women in education field. A major project that is doing almost completed. Problems of women in education field. The state.
Problems of women in education field. Okay.
Teaching and non-teaching, all students, all are there. So I have on the way of collecting data, and almost I have completed, and that's what we. Vedic mathematics, other one Vedic mathematics. I have it for ICSSR.
That's also an ICSSR project, right?
Yeah. That is
okay. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.
Pavitra?
Yes, teacher. Can we move forward, teacher?
Any other clarification needed for the participants? Teachers and scholars, please respond.
Sorry to interrupt. It is not about the related topic. I just would like to know about the formation of a tool, a research tool. If possible, kindly conduct a webinar or further such kind of workshop related to construction of a research tool.
So you want Marketplace Training College to organize a workshop or webinar?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. But the topic should be there about the construction of a research tool.
Okay, very good, very good. Very nice idea. It is highly, we welcome your interest. Okay, we will definitely do such a program and inform you. Okay,
Thank you, thank you very much, ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, Smitha ma'am. Thank you, dear participants. It's time to express gratitude, and for that, let us invite Smriti S. Pillai for expressing vote of thanks. Over to Smriti.
Thank you, Pavitra. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Respected principal, today's resource person, our research coordinator, our other delegates, and all the participants. A warm good evening, one and all. With thankful mind to God in mind, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. K.Y. Benedict sir, even though he is not present in this program because of some other academic obligations. I thank you, sir, with great respect. Next, I would like to propose great gratitude to our resource person, Smitha ma'am, Assistant Professor, Sri Narayana College, Neduganda. In her topic, Achieving Integrity Through Research Culture, she had made a wonderful talk. With his simple and powerful word, she gave us a deep journey into every corner of the research process. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to propose thanks to our research coordinator, Dr. Bindu ma'am, for all his motherly words and all of the support rendered to us. Thank you, ma'am. And next, I would like to propose the thanks to all the participants, especially all the delegates, research guides, teachers, research scholars, MEd and BEd students, all the participants gathered here. Thank you all.
Thank you, Smriti ma'am. Dear participants, please fill the feedback form that we'll share in the chat box. E-certificates will be issued in your email ID, which you have entered in the feedback form. Thank you so much for your valuable participation. Please join with us on next section of Inside Indepth Invite Talk series. Thank you so much. May God bless you all. Thank you once again. Now we come to the end of the webinar. We close it with National Anthem. If possible, please stand up for the National Anthem. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Bindu teacher. Can I leave? Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, teacher.